The music should have sounded like triumph. Instead, it sounded like a funeral procession. Seraphina felt every eye burn into her as she stepped into the royal hall, the silver silk of her gown whispering over the obsidian floors, the embroidered moon crest catching the dying sunlight. Her breath trembled in her chest. Not from fear. From knowing she did not belong here. The Omega Bride. The political pawn. The sacrifice. Her wolf whimpered deep inside her, small, fragile, unsure, but Seraphina kept her chin high. She refused to give them the satisfaction of seeing her flinch. At the end of the aisle stood Alpha King Darius, the man she was being forced to marry. A statue carved of armor and shadows, shoulders broad enough to hold a kingdom. His crown sat on his head like he was born with it fused to his skull. Power radiated off him in waves, cold, absolute, merciless. He didn't smile when he saw her. He didn't soften. His jaw flexed, once, like her presence was an inconvenience. And the hall felt colder. Seraphina inhaled through her nose, letting the icy scent of stone and pine settle her nerves. She approached him step by step, each one heavier than the last. When she finally stopped before him, he didn't offer a hand, didn't offer a nod, didn't offer anything. Just a stare, measured, distant, void of warmth. She bowed her head slightly. "Your Majesty." His voice was a blade dragged over glass. "Let us proceed." The ceremony began. Words were spoken. Vows exchanged. Applause rose like an obedient tide. But Darius never once looked at her. And everyone noticed. The nobles whispered behind jeweled fans. The palace guards shifted awkwardly. Even the moon altar flames flickered uneasily, as though it sensed a union forged in ice rather than destiny. Finally, the officiant declared, "By the blessing of the moon goddess, you are bound." Bound, Seraphina thought bitterly. No, shackled. Darius didn't kiss her. He simply turned and began walking toward the exit. She hurried to keep up, her long gown brushing the floor as she followed him out into the dim stone corridor that led to the royal chambers. Only when the doors shut behind them did he stop. Only then did he finally look at her, really look. Her heart stuttered. His eyes, his eyes, a storm trapped behind iron. A king's eyes. A killer's eyes. A man who never bent for anything. Except there was something else. Something harsher. Something venomous. "Listen carefully," he said, voice low, controlled, lethal. "Tonight, you sleep in my chambers. Tomorrow, we announce our union to the kingdom. But do not confuse this arrangement with affection or fate or—" He paused. His lip curled. "Or the lies your people whisper about mates." Heat rushed to her face. "I have never expected anything from you, Your Majesty." "Good," he said sharply. "Because you will receive nothing." He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, raw power, dominance, heat rolling off him in waves. Her wolf shrank under it, tail tucked. His voice dipped, quiet, but scalding. "My heart, my loyalty, my future, they belong to someone else." Seraphina blinked. Someone else. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Before she could turn, a woman appeared, dark hair cascading over crimson silk, lips painted with victory, eyes gleaming with poisonous satisfaction. Lady Lyra, rumored mistress of the king. Her smile sliced through the silence. "So this is the little Omega Bride." Seraphina's blood iced. Darius spoke without hesitation. "Lyra," he said, voice soft in a way Seraphina had not heard once today. "You should not have come. I had to see her." Lyra stepped closer, circling Seraphina like a predator examining prey. "The girl chosen to warm your bed." Seraphina swallowed. "I'm not." Lyra interrupted with a laugh. "Oh, sweetheart, trust me. You won't be." Darius didn't contradict her. Didn't even seem inclined to. Then, before Seraphina could breathe, could ask the question rising like a scream in her chest, Darius turned to her and spoke the words that shattered her entire world. "Seraphina," he said, voice cold as the moonless sky, "I reject you." Her lungs emptied. Her knees nearly buckled. Her wolf howled a raw, tearing sound inside her mind, pain ripping her in half. "No," she whispered. "We just bonded." "It was never real," Darius said. "This marriage is political. Nothing more." Lyra tilted her chin. "He belongs to me. He always has." Seraphina pressed a hand to her chest as the rejection tore through her veins like fire. Why do this here? Like this?" Darius' expression didn't move. "Because I want you to understand from the very beginning, you are nothing but a symbol. Nothing more." The corridor spun. Her breath failed. Her wolf broke. Her vision dimmed. And as she collapsed onto the cold palace floor, the last thing she heard was Lyra's amused whisper. "Get her out of my king's sight." Darkness swallowed Seraphina whole, and the moon turned its face away. Pain had a sound. A pulse. A sharp, crushing collapse inside the soul. Seraphina woke in the palace courtyard, lying on wet stone, rain trickling down her face like the sky was pitying her when no one else would. Her chest burned. Her heartbeat staggered. Her wolf whimpered, a tiny, wounded thing curling into itself. She tried to stand, but her legs buckled again, forcing her onto her knees. She clutched her chest as another wave of agony ripped through her. Rejection. Real. Final. Brutal. The bond they had formed hours ago, forced or not, was tearing itself apart inside her like a dying star. 2 palace guards stood nearby, silent and watchful. Not one moved to help her. Not even when she gasped for breath. Not even when she dragged herself up onto trembling feet, dress soaking in the rain, hair plastered to her cheeks. "Why?" she whispered through shaking lips. "Why bring me here?" One guard finally spoke, voice flat. His Majesty ordered the Omega Queen removed from the royal wing. Queen. A title she had held for less than a day. "Is this exile?" she asked. "No," the guard said. "Not yet. Not yet." Lightning split the sky above them, violent, jagged, too close. Seraphina flinched as thunder rolled through the courtyard like a beast awakening. The guard's eyes flickered with guilt, quickly masked. "We were told to leave you here until summoned." "Summoned," she repeated. "For what?" Neither answered. Her heart twisted. Her wolf whimpered again, softer now, weaker. Then another voice cut through the storm. Cold. Female. Sharp. Lyra. Stepping out from under the archway, sheltered by a cloak of red velvet, wearing triumph like a second skin. "Oh, little bride," she said, approaching with slow, deliberate steps. "Still alive. Impressive." Seraphina's hands curled into fists, even as her body shook. "What do you want?" Lyra crouched in front of her, examining her like a broken artifact. "You came into this marriage believing a king could love an Omega," she asked softly. "I came because my pack was ordered to," Seraphina whispered. Lyra smirked. "And look how well obedience served you." Seraphina's throat clenched. "Why humiliate me like this?" "The alliance is sealed. You got what you wanted." "Oh, sweetheart." Lyra's voice dipped into wicked affection. "I'm just getting started." A guard shifted uncomfortably. Lyra turned her head sharply. "Leave." Both guards obeyed instantly. Seraphina was suddenly alone with the woman who had ruined her life before it even began. Lyra leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. "Listen carefully, Omega. Darius and I were meant to be. But your pack forced the marriage contract to secure territory." She smiled. "You were the price." Seraphina felt another crack inside her ribs. "So all this is punishment," Lyra finished, "for daring to stand where I belong." A sudden wind swept through the courtyard, scattering rain into cold needles. Seraphina's breathing hitched. Her knees trembled. Her wolf whimpered again, thin, fading. Lyra's smile deepened. "You won't survive the night." Seraphina stiffened. "What did you?" A loud clang echoed from the palace wall. A guard's voice rang out. "She's collapsing." Seraphina's vision blurred. Her chest tightened until she couldn't breathe. Her wolf shuddered inside her, flickering like a candle fighting its final gust. Then, silence. Her wolf, her soul, her anchor, went quiet. Gone. Lyra's face blurred into a distant smear of red and white. Oh, Lyra whispered, delighted. It's happening already. Seraphina felt herself fall sideways onto the cold stone. Barely conscious. Barely breathing. Barely anything. And then, footsteps thundered across the courtyard. Not guards. Not servants. Heavier. Stronger. Faster. Darius. The Alpha King. He stormed into the courtyard, rain soaking his cloak, eyes blazing with something like fury, but not for her. No, never for her. For the situation. For the inconvenience. He knelt beside her, not in concern, but in calculation. Seraphina, he said sharply. Look at me. She forced her eyes open. Barely. His face hovered over hers, sharp, powerful, terrifying. You will maintain your composure. You are still the public face of this marriage, regardless of my personal stance. Her breath rattled. You rejected me, she whispered. He flinched. A flicker. Barely visible. But real. There was no other choice, he said stiffly. You were never meant to be my mate. Her vision dimmed again. Then, why bring me back here? She rasped. Darius hesitated. Just for a breath. Then, because if the nobles learn you collapsed from rejection, they will overturn the marriage. They will demand war against your pack. I cannot allow that. War. Politics. Duty. Never her. Never the woman dying at his feet. Thunder cracked like a whip above them. Seraphina's lips trembled. Was I ever anything to you? Darius looked at her. A cold king. A broken man. A prisoner of his own decisions. No, he said quietly. And you would do well to remember that. Her vision darkened. Her breath faded. Her wolf's silence echoed loudly. And just as the final thread of her bond snapped, the moon above them flickered. Dimmed. Rejected her. Completely. Seraphina's body went still. Darius stiffened, realizing what he'd done. Before he could speak, Lyra stepped forward, voice dripping satisfaction. She's broken. The rain stopped, as if the sky itself held its breath. Darius rose slowly, expression unreadable. Take her away, he ordered the guards. Where? Lyra asked smugly. He paused. His jaw tightened. And the king who rejected her spoke the sentence that would change the path of destiny. Anywhere she cannot be seen. Seraphina heard none of it. She was already unconscious. Already fading. Already disappearing from the kingdom that had destroyed her. The sound leaves her body first. Not a cry. Not a scream. Something quieter. The sound of a soul unthreading. Seraphina's knees hit the floor, hard, but she barely feels the shock of it. The cold marble drinks her warmth, and her bridal veil pulls around her like a discarded ghost. The rejection mark ignites across her chest, a burning brand that claws its way deep into her ribs, shredding along her wolf's essence. Her breath shatters. The room tilts. Her vision sparks. Behind her, Darius inhales sharply, but whether it is guilt or hesitation or nothing at all, she cannot tell. Lady Lyra's voice slices the air like a silk-wrapped dagger. Your Majesty, shall I call the guards? She's making a scene. Seraphina feels the words like blows. Darius doesn't answer immediately. His silence. That is what kills her. Her heart gives a final tremor. A soft, breaking sound inside her chest. Her wolf whimpers raw, strangled, fading. Their bond, their core, their spirit connection. Cracking. Darius. Her voice is barely a whisper, a breath fogging the cold air. Please, don't do this. Lyra steps closer, her perfume cloying, sickly sweet. He already has. The burning grows, searing up Seraphina's spine, choking her throat. Her wolf's presence flickers like a dying lantern, and suddenly Seraphina is choking on her own pulse. Darius finally moves, but not toward her. He steps back, away, as if distance is mercy. His jaw tightens, but his voice comes out cold. Seraphina, leave the kingdom before dawn. The rejection is done. Her vision tunnels. Her wedding gown feels too heavy. Her breaths don't reach her. The room flickers as if the torches themselves cannot bear witness. Darius, her voice breaks. My wolf will survive, he says sharply. But he flinches. A small move. Almost invisible. Almost. Lyra slides one hand over his chest possessively, claiming him in front of her. Seraphina's fingertips tremble against the marble as she tries to rise, and fails. Her body refuses to listen. Her wolf is already sinking into darkness. Lyra's smirk curves. Your Majesty, she's weak. It's embarrassing. Shall I have her escorted out? The torchlight snaps. Shadows dance angrily on the walls. Something heavy crashes inside Seraphina's ribcage, her wolf giving one final plea before going silent. Seraphina's vision blacks out around the edges. Her entire body convulses. Her howl never escapes her throat. It breaks inside her instead. She collapses fully, cheek pressed to cold stone, her wedding crown clattering away. A queen discarded. An omega reduced. A mate rejected. Seconds blur. Boots approach. Heavy. Hesitant. Darius? No. Guards. Two of them lift her limp body, their grips rough, emotionless. Lyra chuckles softly. Throw her beyond the gates. The kingdom shouldn't wake up to this pathetic sight. Seraphina can barely hear. Her mind fogs. The world tilts. The ceiling fades like a distant sky. As they carry her out, something inside her chest snaps for real, quiet, final. Her wolf stops moving. Stops breathing. Stops being. Seraphina's lips part around a soundless gasp. A wet streak slips down her cheek. In that cold royal hallway, surrounded by flickering light and indifferent guards, she realizes. She is dying. Not of rejection. Of abandonment. Of a love that was never given space to live. Her last conscious thought is a whisper only the moon can hear. I wish I had never met you. The darkness takes her. And for now, Seraphina is gone. The rain starts the moment the guards cross the outer wall. As if the heavens themselves recoil. Seraphina's limp form hangs between them like a broken marionette, wedding silk-soaked, head lolling. The rejection mark scorches faintly, still glowing beneath torn fabric. Just drop her here, one guard mutters, shifting uncomfortably. Alpha's orders. The second guard hesitates. She looks dead. Doesn't matter. The king said throw her out. So we throw. They drag her toward the blackened tree-line, the edge of the ever-deep forest, a place mothers warn their children never to wander. The wind howls. Branches twist. Something old stirs in the shadows. The guards throw Seraphina's body onto the mud with a careless thud. Her skin hits earth. Her breath barely moves her chest. You think the wolves will get her? Forest spirits, maybe. Either way, not our problem. They turn back toward the kingdom, torches bobbing through the dark. Silence follows. A silence too heavy. Too watchful. Seraphina lies unmoving. Rain beats against her skin like cold fingertips. Her lashes tremble faintly from reflex. Her heartbeat is slow. Failing. Her wolf doesn't respond. Her fingers twitch once, weakly. A whisper of breath escapes her lips. I don't want to die. The forest hears. Something shifts in the branches. A dark silhouette descends soundlessly from the trees, tall, cloaked, wearing armor that glints like onyx wet from the rain. A mask hides the face completely, shaped like a moon carved in shadow. The figure kneels beside her. Gloved fingers hover above her throat. A pulse. Faint. Thready. The warrior exhales a low breath that fogs in the cold. You shouldn't be alive. Seraphina doesn't respond. The warrior lifts her gently, more gently than she has been touched in years, and cradles her against a firm chest. Lightning splits the sky. For an instant, the mask gleams silver. Ancient. Runed. Dangerous. The warrior murmurs, voice low and groveled. The kingdom has thrown you away. So you belong to the forest now. The forest wind swirls in response, whispering leaves and rattling branches, as if agreeing. The warrior hesitates, then adds softly, I will not let you die. With a fluid, practiced motion, the masked figure carries Seraphina deeper into the ever-deep, moving between trees as though shadows part willingly. Deeper. Darker. Toward something older than the kingdom itself. A hidden cavern entrance glows faintly, runes etched into stone pulsing with soft moonlight. The warrior steps inside. A chamber waits, lined with relics, ancient weapons, and glowing crystals that hum like living heartbeats. The masked figure lays Seraphina on a stone altar carved with lunar symbols. Her breathing falters. Her lips pale. Her wolf remains silent. The warrior removes one glove, revealing a hand marked with old scars and inked sigils. They press two fingertips to Seraphina's sternum. A flare of blue light bursts beneath the skin. The warrior jerks back. Goddess, she's been rejected. The runes react violently. The cavern pulses. A voice older than time whispers from the stone walls. Save her. The warrior freezes. I don't have that kind of power. The runes pulse again, harsher. You will learn. Lightning cracks outside. A storm builds. Seraphina's body arches suddenly, her back bowing, a broken gasp tearing from her throat. Her eyes fly open glassily, unfocused, before rolling back. The warrior grips her hand. Stay with me. Her pulse stutters. Her breath catches. The rune altar erupts in silver light. Seraphina screams. Her wolf's voice returns for one single heartbeat, a howl of agony and rebirth. Then silence. The cavern's glow flickers. Her body collapses. Still, unmoving. The warrior leans over her, breath trembling behind the mask. Seraphina. No response. A heartbeat of dread hangs. 2, 3. Then, her fingers twitch. Her chest rises. Barely, but enough. The warrior exhales shakily. Relief cracks their voice. Good. Good. You're not done yet. A sudden tremor shakes the cavern floor. The runes flare violently. The warrior snaps their head up. What now? The walls whisper again. She must leave this world, to become what she was meant to be. The warrior's eyes widen behind the mask. The cavern splits open in light. A vortex of moonfire erupts beneath the altar, swallowing Seraphina's body whole, lifting her into the air in a beam of blinding silver. Her hair whips around her face. Her limbs go weightless. Her pulse merges with the rune's heartbeat. The warrior cries out, grabbing for her, but the light forces them back. Seraphina's body dissolves into white sparks. One final whisper escapes her lips. Darius. She vanishes. The light snaps shut. Silence crashes over the cavern. Seraphina is gone. The first thing Seraphina feels is silence. Not peaceful. Alive. A deep, humming stillness that vibrates beneath her skin, inside her bones, inside the place where her wolf once lived. She gasps and bolts upright. The world blurs into shapes, silver light, towering trees, the stone beneath her, the cold air like needles on her cheeks. She tries to steady her breathing, but each inhale drags across the raw wound in her spirit. Her wolf, still silent. Her pulse trips. A soft step echoes across the clearing. She spins, heart jerking. A cloaked figure stands at the edge of the glowing runes, the same mask she saw before, carved moon, dark as shadow, etched with faint silver veins. You survived, the masked warrior says quietly. Seraphina opens her mouth, but her throat burns. What happened? Where am I? In the Everdeep's heart, the warrior replies. The forest spared you. The moon chose you. Seraphina laughs bitterly, though her voice shakes. The moon chose to break me. No, the warrior says, stepping closer. She chose to remake you. Seraphina flinches as a pulse of energy ripples through the runes beneath her. Her chest aches sharply. My wolf, she presses a trembling hand over her heart. I can't feel her. She is not dead, the warrior says. But she is wounded. She will sleep until you grow strong enough to carry her again. The words hit her like falling stones. Her wolf, her spirit, her companion, gone silent by force, by rejection, by a king who could not bear her existence. Her throat tightens. "I don't want his bond," she whispers. "I don't want anything from him." "Then take something from yourself," the warrior replies. "Strength, skill, power. You can't return to your old life, but you can build a new one." Seraphina shakes her head, tears spilling despite her stubbornness. "He threw me away, like I was nothing." The warrior kneels before her eye level, voice quiet but unyielding. "You were nothing to him. That does not mean you were nothing." The words hit a place she didn't know she had left. Another cloaked figure emerges from the shadows. Then another. And another. Men and women with moon-etched armor. Warriors with quiet steps and ageless bearing. Their eyes glow pale silver, wolves altered by ancient magic. Seraphina tries to stand, wobbling. The first warrior, the one who saved her, catches her with surprising gentleness. "You will walk again," they murmur. "You will fight. You will reshape the world." Seraphina pushes off instinctively, breath trembling. "Why help me?" "Because the moon marked you," the warrior says. "Your suffering will not end you. It will transform you." The circle of warriors lowers their heads, a gesture of solemn recognition. "Phantom-born," they whisper. "Chosen." Seraphina swallows hard. "I didn't ask for this." "No chosen ever does," the leader says. But they rise anyway. The forest wind swells, sharp, icy. It swirls around Seraphina, catching the edges of her torn gown, brushing through her hair like ghostly fingers. Something shifts inside her. Not her wolf, but something deeper. A spark, a pulse, a beginning. The warrior extends a hand. "Walk, or fall, but choose." Seraphina's breath catches. Slowly, slowly, she places her hand in theirs. The masked warrior helps her off the altar. And Seraphina feels it. The first step of a life that will never again be shaped by a king's cruelty. A life forged by her own will. Days blur into nights. Nights blur into discipline. Training begins the way storms begin, quiet, then all at once. Seraphina learns to stand before she learns to strike. She learns to breathe before she learns to fight. She learns to endure before she learns to kill. The masked warrior, whom the others call Arcturus, becomes her constant shadow. He teaches her balance, speed, how to fight without a wolf, how to survive on instincts alone. She breaks often. She rises every time. And every night she lies awake, muscles aching, chest aching more, remembering a king who broke her on marble floors. She trains harder, faster. She refuses to stay broken. The ancient warriors watch her progress with grim approval. She burns, one murmurs. She is becoming. She does not know what she is becoming, but she feels it. Strength like blood, resolve like bone, rage like breath. She grows sharper, quieter, deadlier. By the time the moon completes its cycle, Seraphina is no longer the girl dragged from the kingdom gates. She looks at her reflection in a pool one night. Her eyes, once soft gold, now glint silver at the edges, the mark of ancient power. Her aura hums. Her spine straightens. Her heart beats differently. A warrior breathes where an omega once wept. And somewhere, deep in her dormant wolf, something stirs, like a sleeping giant shifting. A single whispered promise echoes in her mind. Not yet, but soon. One night, Arcturus approaches silently. "You are ready," he says. Seraphina looks up. For what? He tosses her a mask, a crescent of silver and shadow. "To become what the moon spared you for." Seraphina lifts the mask. It is cold, beautiful, unforgiving. She presses it to her face. Arcturus nods. "Welcome, Phantom." She inhales, steady. Finally steady. The forest wind rises, carrying her name away and carrying something newer in its place. Seraphina is gone. Only Phantom remains. The screams travel far in the ever-deep, bouncing off the ancient trees with unnerving clarity. Seraphina, now masked, armored, and carved by 10 months of relentless training, moves before she thinks. Her body responds like instinct, like fate. She sprints through the forest, barely disturbing the leaves. The village smoke rises ahead. Orange flames. Shadows fleeing. Children crying. Her pulse sharpens to a point. Arcturus leaps through the trees beside her. Remember your breath. Remember your center. She nods once. But inside her chest, her dormant wolf shifts again, agitated, straining against the quiet she's lived in for so long. Not awakening. Just watching. They reach the edge of the village. Chaos breathes here, fire twisting around rooftops, raiders tearing through homes, wolves snarling in desperation. Seraphina steps forward. One raider, a huge man with jagged armor, spots her and laughs. Look, a little masked freak come to die. Seraphina moves. 1 second she's standing still. The next she's inside his guard. Her blade arcs up swift, clean, and slices his weapon arm. He screams. She pivots, elbow driving into his jaw, dropping him to the dirt. Arcturus sucks in a breath. Good. More raiders circle her, snarling. Kill her. Seraphina's blood cools. Her breath slows. Her heart finds its center. She fights. Not wildly. Not fearfully. Precisely. Every strike born from months of pain. Every movement shaped by betrayal. Every blow cutting through the version of herself who once knelt before a king. Her blades flash in the firelight. Her cloak snaps like a shadow. She moves like she's known war her whole life. A raider swings a heavy axe. She ducks under it, rolls, and drives her knee into his gut. Another charges behind her. She twists and kicks him back, using his weight to send him into a burning wall. A third tries to grab her mask. Seraphina reacts instantly. She slams her forehead into his nose, hears cartilage crack, and sends him sprawling. Villagers stare with stunned awe. One small child peeks from behind his mother's cloak. And Ma, is that a ghost? His mother shakes her head slowly. No, something stronger. Seraphina hears. And something in her chest warms. Then, a roar cuts through the battlefield. A massive beast, part wolf, part armored brute, bursts through the flames, eyes glowing red. Not natural. Not born. Created. Arcturus whispers sharply, "Be careful. That is forged magic." Seraphina tightens her grip on her blades. "Then I'll break it." The beast charges. She runs to meet it. The ground trembles. Her breath burns. Her heart pounds a warning she ignores. She dives aside just as its clawed hand slashes the air where her head had been. The creature roars, swinging again. She jumps, lands on a half-collapsed beam, and launches herself onto its back. It thrashes violently. Seraphina digs her blades into its shoulders, holding herself in place. It bucks. She grunts. It spins, trying to throw her into the fire. She snarls behind her mask, not like a wolf, but like a survivor. Then she sees it, a faint glowing sigil pulsing at its spine. The control rune. She lets go of one blade, free-falling for half a second, then jams the other directly into the rune. The creature screams. Magic explodes. Seraphina flies backward, hitting the dirt hard enough to knock the breath from her lungs. The masked warrior gasps and rolls, pushing herself up. The creature collapses. Dead. Silence sweeps across the burning village. Slow. Odd. Disbelieving. A small girl is the first to move. She steps forward, trembling, holding a flower with shaking fingers. "Thank you, Phantom." Seraphina freezes. Not at the gratitude. Not at the innocence. But at the name. Phantom. Her new life. Her new identity. Her new weapon. She kneels, takes the flower, and places it gently in the girl's small hand. "Live," she says quietly. "That is thanks enough." Arcturus approaches behind her. "You did well." Seraphina watches the village burn, jaw tight, breath shaking in her chest. "How many more villages need saving?" "Many," Arcturus answers. Darkness spreads. Wolves suffer. Kings fail. A breath catches in Seraphina's throat. A king. Her king. The one who threw her away to die. the one ruling a kingdom slowly rotting from the inside. She doesn't speak his name. She refuses to give it breath. But in the firelight, Seraphina's eyes glint with something sharp and rising. Resolve. Fury. Purpose. We go where we are needed next, Arcturus says. Yes, Seraphina replies. But her mind whispers a different truth. One day, I will return. The fire cracks. Smoke rises. And in the distance, far beyond the forest and unaware of the storm heading toward him, Alpha King Darius wakes from sleep, heart pounding, haunted by a dream of silver flames and a masked phantom he cannot understand. The throne room has never been this quiet. The candles flicker as though afraid to break the silence. The air feels heavy, too heavy, and Alpha King Darius sits hunched forward, crown tilted back in his hands, elbows pressed into his knees. He hasn't slept. Not properly. Not in days. The kingdom thinks their king is strong, unflinching, the iron backbone of the realm. They don't see this version of him. The version who wakes every night choking on memories he spent years trying to bury. A wedding night. A woman's broken gasp. A rejection so cruel that even the moon pulled away in horror. Darius drags a hand down his face. He hates that he remembers it clearly now, hates that her voice still echoes in his skull. Seraphina. The name is a wound that refuses to scab. A knock at the massive door snaps his head up. Commander Rowan steps in, his armor dusty with travel. Your Majesty, reports have arrived. Darius straightens, trying to rebuild his mask of cold leadership. From the northern border? Rowan shakes his head. No, sire. About the phantom. The king stills. For weeks, rumors have spread like wildfire of a masked warrior who appears without warning, saves entire villages from raiders, and vanishes like mist. Darius lifts his gaze slowly. Speak. Rowan steps forward. The phantom is not a rumor. They are real. And their skill is unlike anything we've seen. Darius feels something tighten in his chest. Jealousy? No, something deeper. Something he can't name. Witnesses say they move like a shadow, Rowan continues. Silent. Precise. Deadly. Some even say they fight as if they have nothing left to lose. Darius's jaw ticks. That line hits too close. He rises from the throne, shoulders broad but tense beneath his dark robes. Send word, he orders. I want this phantom found. Immediately. Rowan nods. And if they resist? Darius turns, his eyes catching firelight haunted, burning. Then make them an offer they cannot refuse. Rowan hesitates. Sire, why such interest? The king's breath leaves him slowly, as though dragged from somewhere deep. Because, Darius murmurs, every warrior leaves a signature on the battlefield. And if rumors are true, theirs feels familiar. He doesn't say why. He doesn't say how the phantom style reminds him of someone he failed, someone he discarded like damaged goods. He doesn't say her name. He can't. Another messenger bursts into the room, panting. Your Majesty, Lady Lyra seeks an audience. Darius's shoulders stiffen. Of course she does. He turns away, voice sharp. Tell Lady Lyra I am occupied. Sire, she insists it is urgent. She said, I am occupied. The room freezes around him. It takes a moment for Darius to regain control, slow his breathing, fix his crown back onto his head. His voice softens not with kindness, but with exhaustion. Tell her I will see her later. The messenger bows and flees. Rowan studies the king, eyes narrowing. Forgive me, my king, but the court whispers. I know what they whisper, Darius snaps. That Lady Lyra still believes she will become your true queen. Darius's face hardens. Let the court think what it wants. And you? Rowan asks carefully. What do you believe? Darius's stare drifts to the far wall, where moonlight cuts through the stained glass window. A pale silver beam lands across the exact spot Seraphina had stood the day they wed. I believe, he says quietly, that the moon no longer listens to me. Rowan lowers his head. I will find the phantom for you. But as he exits, Darius remains frozen, fingers tightening around the edge of the throne until his knuckles whiten. Because there is a whisper in his mind he cannot quiet. What if the phantom is her? Ridiculous. Impossible. And yet, he had felt Seraphina's absence like a missing limb. Felt something in him unravel the day she disappeared. The day reports came that her body was likely lost to the river. He never mourned her publicly, because he does not deserve to mourn the person he destroyed. A gust of cold wind sweeps through the cracked window, blowing out one of the candles. Darius shivers. The kingdom grows darker by the hour. Rebels grow bolder. Assassins move in shadows. And now, of all times, a legendary warrior appears? No coincidences exist in the world ruled by the moon. He feels it in his bones. The past is coming back for him. But whether to save him or destroy him, he does not know. A horn blasts from outside the palace walls, long and urgent. Darius rushes onto the balcony as guards sprint across the courtyard. What is happening? He shouts. A soldier looks up, breathless. Sire, an assassin has breached the outer defenses. Darius's blood goes cold. Then, heard faintly from the far rooftops, comes a sound that chills him deeper than any threat. A single, piercing whistle. Warrior-like. Exact. Unfamiliar. Yet strangely known. The phantom. The king grips the railing, pulse hammering. Find them, he commands. Find them now. Because the phantom is no longer just a rumor. They are here. Inside his kingdom. Inside his walls. And something in him whispers. They are coming for you. The palace rooftop is slick with dew, shadowed by heavy storm clouds that smother the moonlight, except for one thin silver streak cutting through the darkness, like a divine invitation. Seraphina stands at the highest point, breathing slowly beneath her obsidian mask. The wind tugs at her cloak, carrying scents she remembers too well, embers from the palace forges, lavender from the queen's gardens, and beneath it all, him, Darius. His scent drifts like a ghost from her past, strong enough to crack something small and fragile inside her chest. 10 years of silence collapse into a single heartbeat. Her fingers curl unconsciously. Her wolf stirs restless, quiet, a shadow of what it once was. But tonight, it hums low in her mind, weak but present. We're home, Seraphina whispers. But not for him. Lightning flashes across the sky, illuminating the courtyard below. Guards scramble, scanning rooftops, searching desperately for the assassin and for her. The whisper of wolves, the masked phantom. No one suspects the ghost of their dead queen stands above them, alive and forged into something unrecognizable. She watches their frantic movements with detachment. This kingdom had never cared for her suffering, never fought for her, never wondered if she lived. But now they need her. Because the assassin hunting the king was no mere rebel. Her intel was clear. They were part of something deeper, something planned, something orchestrated. And someone had hired her, the phantom, to protect the man she least wanted to save. She doesn't do it for him. She does it for the innocent lives who will be caught in the crossfire. Another bolt of lightning slices the sky. On the far rooftop, the assassin moves quick, fluid, cloaked in red. Too quick for ordinary soldiers. Their blade glints as they leap toward the inner courtyard. Seraphina narrows her eyes. Enough. She launches herself from the tower. The drop is nearly fatal for any normal warrior, but she lands silently, knees bending with supernatural grace. The impact echoes faintly, one soft thud on stone, just enough for the assassin to sense. They spin. She is already on them. Steel clashes. Sparks fly. The courtyard erupts with shouts as guards rush to surround the two masked figures battling across the rooftops. Seraphina's movements are smooth, lethal, a decade of brutal training honed to perfection. Every strike is a whisper of vengeance. Every block, a reminder of the woman she used to be. The assassin lunges. She twists, grabs their wrist, and slams them into a chimney stack. Tiles shatter under the force. "Who sent you?" she growls, voice distorted through the mask. They spit blood. "You are too late, Phantom. He dies tonight." Her chest tightens, annoyance, not concern. Not on my watch. The assassin flips backward, landing on a narrower roof beam. You cannot protect a king who doesn't deserve saving. She freezes. Her pulse stumbles. That sentence hits like a blade to her ribs. Her grip falters for just a breath, just one. And the assassin sees it. They smirk. You know it. You know what he did. The world whispers of his sins. The queen he broke. The wife he cast aside. Her blade slices the air, grazing their throat warningly. Do not speak of her. Why, they hiss. Because you knew the dead queen? Or because you were her? Seraphina's world stills. Time fractures. For one horrific heartbeat, she wonders. Did they see through her mask? But the assassin's eyes widen, as though realizing they've struck a hidden nerve. They leap away, vanishing into the night with a smoke bomb that covers their escape. Guards scramble through the haze below. Find that phantom, someone shouts. No, another guard yells. Protect the king. Seraphina lands on a balcony silently, body tense, heart pounding beneath the leather armor. Her wolf shivers inside her. Not from fear. From memory. From the sound of approaching footsteps. Heavy. Controlled. Familiar. Darius. He steps into the moonlit balcony from the opposite side, panting from the rush of chaos. His dark hair is wind-tossed, crown askew, sword still drawn. His eyes sweep the shadows and land directly on her. The world shrinks to a thin thread of air between them. He cannot see her face. He cannot smell her wolf. There is almost nothing left of it. He has no reason to suspect. But something in him freezes. Who are you? He asks quietly. His voice, his scent, his presence. All knives twisted into old wounds. Seraphina stays silent. Lightning illuminates her silhouette, masked, rigid, cloaked in black. Darius's breath stutters. You saved me. She doesn't answer. You move like. His eyes flicker. Haunted. Searching. No. Impossible. He steps closer. She steps back. The distance between them becomes a battlefield. I want your name, he says, voice rough. You don't need it. You will serve the crown, he declares. I am ordering it. She almost laughs. Almost. Instead, she turns away, ready to disappear into the night. But Darius moves faster than she expects, grabbing her wrist. The touch is electric. Her breath snaps in her throat. His eyes widen in shock as though something ancient inside him recognizes her through touch alone. Who are you? He whispers it this time. Not as a king. As a man who has lost something precious. She rips her hand free. Your past, she says softly, is coming for you, your majesty. Prepare. Before he can speak, she leaps. One fluid arc over the balcony, swallowed by the night. Darius stands frozen, chest heaving, staring at the empty space where she vanished. And for the first time in 10 years, he feels alive. And terrified. Because deep inside, something ancient whispers. She felt familiar. The throne room falls into a stunned hush. Every guard stands frozen, half-shifted, claws out, fangs bared. Darius still breathes hard from the ambush, chest rising beneath torn battle armor. But his eyes? They are fixed on the masked warrior who slit through assassins like mist. Seraphina does not move. She feels the weight of his stare like heat on the mask, exactly as she trained herself never to feel again. But his scent hits her anyway. Pine resin. Cold steel. A trace of remorse she once prayed for. Not anymore. He straightens. Who are you? His voice is steady, but she hears the undercurrent, intrigue, tension, something primal waking beneath his restraint. She lowers her head just slightly. Enough to command presence. Enough to hide. Your new protector. The words are flat, hardened. A blade forged over 10 years. Darius steps closer. And closer. Until he's a breath away. His wolf pushes at the edges of him, curiosity, interest, yearning. She forces her own to stay inside the iron cage she built from her own bones. His voice drops. Remove the mask. Not unless I choose to. A murmur ripples across the guards. Darius lifts a hand and the entire room goes silent. His eyes narrow, not in anger, in fascination. He circles her slowly, gaze searching, assessing. She feels his presence like a storm, hot, electric, suffocating. You move like someone trained by the old clans, he murmurs behind her. No one survives them. She stiffens. He notices. He always noticed back then. He just didn't care. I don't recall hiring a mystery, he says. But it seems I have one. She turns her head just enough that moonlight glides across the obsidian mask. You hired survival. Nothing else. Darius studies her. The tension between them thickens, turning the air molten. Your voice, he says quietly. Why does it sound like? She steps away before the memory spills into his tone. Stop searching for familiarity, she says. You will not find any. He watches her with an expression she's seen only once before. The night he realized the ceremony would bind them as mates. Conflicted. Haunted. Drawn. You'll be shadowing me, he declares. At all times. She suppresses a laugh. Of course. Fate would give her this. Her past sins, his folding into a punishment neither expects. Yes, Your Majesty. The words taste like iron. Her fists clench behind her cloak. He moves closer again, invading her stillness with the gravity of a king who knows exactly how to command a room, yet for once, she senses he is the one unsteady. What should I call you? He asks. Seraphina tilts her head. Phantom. His breath stutters just slightly. Just enough. She walks past him without permission. Darius turns to follow her with his eyes, something darkening in his expression, a pull he cannot name. Which is perfect. Because he is not meant to recognize her. Not yet. Not until she is ready to watch his world crumble. The palace corridors are quiet as she escorts him toward the private wing. The firelight flickers across his profile, strong jaw, the slightest scar along his temple, the weight of his crown pressing down on him like guilt. He slows. Earlier, when those assassins attacked, he says, you didn't hesitate. You put your body between mine and a blade. Why? Seraphina stands tall. It is my duty. His stare burns. It felt like more. She swallows the memories clawing up her throat. A warrior's instincts are not emotions. Then why, he says, stepping closer, did my wolf react to you? Her heart halt skips, painful, humiliating, familiar. Wolves react to strength. He shakes his head slowly. No, this felt like. Enough, she interrupts. He goes still. Shock flickers through him. No one interrupts the king. No, she repeats more quietly. We do not discuss instincts. He stares at her as if she cracked open a door he didn't know existed. A long breath leaves him. Then he turns away, jaw tight, but not angry. Just unsettled. I expect you outside my chambers at dusk, he says without looking back. Yes, Your Majesty. She waits until his footsteps vanish. Only then does her mask quietly drip a single tear onto the cold stone floor. A tear she didn't permit. A tear she will never allow again. Because tonight, she begins protecting the man she once loved. But soon, she will destroy him. Night settles over the palace like a secret. Seraphina stands guard at the king's chamber door, motionless, poised, a shadow with a heartbeat. Inside, she hears him pacing, back and forth. Slow, heavy, restless. She used to dream of nights like this, being wanted in his space, acknowledged, needed. But dreams die. She made sure of that. The door swings open without warning. Darius stands there, shirt half unbuttoned, hair tousled, eyes midnight tired. His scent hits her full force. Heat. Regret. Loneliness. Her wolf trembles in its iron cage. You're early, he says. You're late, she counters. He blinks. Then, a sound leaves him. A short, startled laugh. The king of an empire laughs. Because of her. Something inside her stings, not warmth. Something sharper. Come in, he says, stepping aside. She enters. The chamber is dimly lit, only a single lantern glowing, casting golden shadows across black stone walls. The night breeze lifts the curtains gently, carrying the scent of pine and storm. Everything feels too intimate. Too close. Darius watches her from the window, arms crossed tightly, as if holding himself together. "You saved my life today," he says quietly. "Yes. You're not curious how many have tried to kill me this month?" "No." He tilts his head. "Why not?" Curiosity distracts. Distraction kills. His eyes soften. "You speak like someone who has lost too much." Her pulse hitches. She masks it with stillness. "I speak like someone who survived what others didn't." Silence stretches between them. Darius steps closer, but slowly, like he senses she will bolt if he moves too fast. "Phantom, there is something about you." She doesn't breathe. "Your presence feels familiar. Your scent, your silence, the way you look at me even though I can't see your eyes." She stands frozen. He takes another step. Close now. Close enough she feels his breath brush the fabric of her mask. It feels like. His voice dips, raw and confused. "As if I've stood this close to you before." Her throat closes. She turns away sharply. "Do not compare me to ghosts, Your Majesty." His gaze darkens. "Ghosts don't set my wolf on fire." Her chest tightens. She forces steel into her voice. "Control your wolf." "I can't," he says. "Not around you." The air thickens, heavy, charged, dangerous. He reaches out, hand lifting as if to touch her mask. She catches his wrist midair. Fast. Silent. Unshakable. His breath shudders. "You're strong," he whispers. "Too strong to be a nameless fighter." She releases him abruptly. "I am your guard. Nothing more." His jaw flexes. "That's the thing," he says. "I want to know more." Her heart slams against her ribs. She steps back. Distance. Distance is the only safety she has left. "You want too much," she says. "From the wrong people." He flinches barely, but she sees it. The wound she once died from. His voice lowers. "You speak as if you know my past." "I know your type." He stiffens. "My type. Men who mistake desire for destiny." The words slice between them. He inhales slowly, voice tight. "And what do you mistake me for?" "A lesson." His eyes burn with something between anger and yearning. "A lesson," he repeats quietly. "For whom?" "For both of us." Before he can respond, a sound echoes in the hallway. A whisper of metal. A shift of air. Seraphina reacts instantly. She lunges, pushes Darius against the wall just as a blade slices through the space where his throat had been. He freezes, pressed chest to chest with her, his breath trapped between shock and something dangerously close to hunger. She doesn't let him move. Her body shields his. Her voice is a low growl. "Stay behind me." Assassins. 3 of them. Silent, hooded, fast. Darius whispers against her ear, "Phantom." Something in his tone, recognition, longing, cracks the air open. Seraphina draws her blade. They leap. And she meets them head-on. The room explodes into chaos, steel clashing, shadows flying, Darius reaching for a weapon he doesn't have. The third assassin slips behind her. Darius's eyes widen. "Behind you." She turns, but not fast enough. The blade catches her shoulder. Blood sprays. Her mask tilts. Darius grabs her, steadying her. Instinctively, protectively. He stares at the drop of blood on the floor. Then at her. Then. His voice cracks. "Seraphina." Her world goes still. He shouldn't know. Not yet. Not like this. But he speaks again. "Your scent, your stance, the way you. It's you." Her mask hangs loose. The last assassin lunges. Seraphina spins. But Darius grabs her wrist. Not to protect himself. To stop her. To see her. "Take off the mask," he breathes. The assassin's blade flies toward them. Darius barely slept. Seraphina senses it the moment he steps out of his chamber, his movement stiff, his breath shallow, his spirit wearing exhaustion the way soldiers wear old armor. The dawn light catches the edge of his profile. His eyes are ringed with shadows, the weight of sleepless nights dragging at him. He doesn't speak. Neither does she. Her mask hides everything, But inside her chest, something old and scarred wakes with a quiet, brutal satisfaction. He should be uncomfortable. He should be restless. He should feel the ghost of what he did to her. Today, he would. Darius clears his throat, eyes fixed forward. Stay close, he murmurs. Seraphina's voice is cool iron. Always. The corridor stretches long and silent as they walk toward the war hall. The palace guards bow as the king passes. Their gazes flick to the phantom, admiring, terrified, desperate for her to be on their side. If only they knew. Darius suddenly pauses, and Seraphina nearly walks into him. He turns. His gaze sweeps her mask, searching for something he cannot name. There's a tension in him, a question he hasn't found the courage to ask. Did you sleep? He asks. She tilts her head. Does it matter? He huffs a humorless breath. I suppose it doesn't. Still, your safety. My safety is not the issue today. Her tone slices. He flinches. Good. The council doors open. Advisors, generals, nobles, everyone stands. Lady Lyra sits near the head of the table, back straight, lips curled into a delicate, poisonous smile. Her eyes find Darius first, then slide to the phantom. And something flickers fear? Recognition? Resentment? Seraphina catches every micro-expression. She takes her place behind the king as discussions erupt, border raids, internal unrest, rumors of a shadow faction growing within the court. But Seraphina's attention never leaves Lyra. The mistress leans forward, intentionally letting her sleeve slip enough to expose the bite mark Darius once placed on her skin. A petty, calculated move. Darius notices it too. He stops mid-sentence. Lyra offers him an innocent expression. My king? You look pale. Are you unwell? His jaw tightens. Seraphina watches his hands clench under the table. He shakes his head and continues the meeting. Seraphina makes her move. She steps forward, lowering her head beside his ear, her voice low enough only he can hear. You're losing focus. He stiffens. Yes. You're right. You allow distractions, she whispers. His breath shudders. She is no distraction to me. Seraphina lets the words hit him like a blade. Prove it. Her quiet challenge sinks into him like molten iron. For a second, he forgets to breathe. But Lyra sees his reaction. The mistress's eyes narrow, her grip on her goblet tightening. Seraphina straightens, returning to her post, invisible but omnipresent. The rest of the meeting drags on. Voices rise, papers shuffle, the kingdom's problems pile like storm clouds, but Darius cannot escape the awareness of her behind him. Every step she takes, every breath, every subtle shift of her presence. He is unraveling. She is the one pulling the threads. When the meeting adjourns, he dismisses the room with a single raised hand. But Lyra stays seated. Darius, she says softly. Seraphina watches his jaw flex. Lyra smiles sweetly. You've changed. This new warrior. Darius cuts her off. Say what you want to say. Lyra rises slowly, her gown whispering across the floor as she approaches him. She places her hand on his arm. Seraphina doesn't move. But inside, the wolf she once was bares her teeth. Lyra lowers her voice. Whoever that warrior is, they are driving you mad. Darius inhales sharply, as if the words strike too close to truth. Lyra's smile deepens. Tell me, my king, are you drawn to them? Something fragile breaks across the space. Darius steps back. Do not speak of things you do not understand. Lyra's eyes flick to the phantom. Oh, I understand perfectly. Seraphina speaks before Darius can. Remove your hand from the king. Her voice rings like cracked winter ice. Lyra startles, then scoffs. You overstep. You serve him. I loved him. Seraphina steps forward, slow and predatory. And yet he flinches when you stand too close. Lyra's face drains of color. Darius turns away, overwhelmed, conflicted, spiraling. Seraphina's plan is working. His guilt grows with every breath. His discomfort sharpens with every memory he cannot quite place. But she isn't done. Not when he hurt her so deeply his image still scars her dreams. She leans down again as he braces a hand against the wall. You are off balance, she murmurs. I know. His voice cracks. Then find your footing. He swallows. How? She steps closer, close enough for him to feel the warmth of her breath through the mask. By letting go of what is rotting you. His pulse stutters. And what is that? He whispers. She says nothing. But her silence answers everything. Lyra. The guilt. The past. The cruelty he can't erase. The ghost of a bride who died because of him. Or so he believed. He meets the mask again. If I could undo what I did, I would, he admits quietly. I would give anything to take it back. Seraphina turns her head, heart thundering against the armor binding her chest. He continues, voice breaking open like a wound. I hated myself for hurting her. A beat. And every time I look at you, I feel that same guilt. Seraphina freezes. His words are knives twisting in places she buried a decade ago. He steps closer. Too close. I don't know why, he whispers. But something about you reminds me of her. Her heartbeat stops. She steps back sharply. But he follows. His eyes searching her mask like a man desperate for truth. What are you hiding from me? He asks. Seraphina's breath shakes. Not from fear. From the war inside her ribs. Nothing, she answers. A lie he feels. He reaches for her mask. Her hand snaps up, grabbing his wrist midair. Their breaths collide. Do not try that again, she warns. But he doesn't release her gaze. I need to know, he says quietly. I need to understand why I feel this way around you. His voice has softened. Too vulnerable. Too honest. Seraphina's walls slam down. Feelings will get you killed, my king. He doesn't flinch. He takes a small step closer. Maybe, he murmurs, or maybe they will save me. Her breath catches. Before she can stop him, he whispers. Who are you, Phantom? The world stills. The tension coils so tightly it could snap. And then, the palace shudders under a sudden, violent explosion. Flames roar from the west wing. Shouts echo. Steel clashes. Wolves snarl. Assassins. Again. But this time, they're inside the walls. Darius and Seraphina spin toward the sound. And as the smoke rolls toward them, a figure steps out of the flames. Lady Lyra. Holding a bloody dagger. Smiling. Finally, she purrs. We can end this. The smoke curls like serpents around Lyra's silhouette as she steps forward. Her smile is unnervingly calm. Almost relieved. Darius instinctively steps in front of Seraphina. Lyra, he says slowly. Put the weapon down. Lyra tilts her head, eyes flicking over Seraphina's armor. Still hiding behind another woman, I see. Seraphina stiffens. A decade later, and Lyra's voice still holds the same venom she used the night Seraphina was left on the floor to die. Lyra wipes blood from the blade with the edge of her gown, her movements graceful, almost relaxed. I warned them you wouldn't die easily, she says. Darius's breath halts. Who? He demands. Lyra smiles wider. Your precious counsel. Your loyal guards. The ones who grew tired of your pathetic grief. She gestures lazily with the dagger. They hired the assassins. All of them. The truth detonates like a bomb. Darius staggers. You knew. Lyra's voice sharpens. I orchestrated it. Seraphina's grip tightens on her weapon. Her wolf rises to the surface, fury rumbling beneath her skin like an earthquake. Lyra turns her gaze on Seraphina. You should thank me, Phantom. I created you. Seraphina's voice is quiet, lethal. Explain. Lyra takes another step forward, fire lighting her eyes. That pitiful Omega that died 10 years ago? She was weak. Soft. Boring. Disposable. A cold smile. And look what you are now. Darius snaps. He lunges toward Lyra, but Seraphina catches his arm, pulling him back. Don't, she warns. She wants that. Lyra laughs. Oh, listen to your little pet. She's right. The ground shakes as more explosions thunder through the halls. Screams echo. The kingdom is burning from the inside out. Lyra lifts her chin proudly. This kingdom deserves a real queen. Not a ghost. Not a broken king. And certainly not an Omega. Darius's voice drops to a dangerous low. What did you do 10 years ago? Lyra's smile becomes poison. Exactly what you ordered. Silence. Seraphina's blood freezes. What? Darius whispers. Lyra walks in a slow circle, dragging her finger along the wall like a child in a garden. You wanted her gone. You told me you didn't care if she lived or died. She laughs softly. So I ensured she didn't. Seraphina's world tilts. Even behind the mask, her breath trembles. She had always believed Darius simply rejected her, left her to die by neglect. But this... Darius turns, horror flooding his face. No, he chokes. No, I never, Lyra. What are you saying? Lyra's voice becomes a shrill mockery. You said the words yourself. That night, in front of everyone. Seraphina's heart pounds so hard her vision blurs. Darius looks at her mask, anguish clawing through him. I did say something cruel, he admits. But I never meant it literally. I never gave an order to harm her. Lyra sighs dramatically. Intentions don't matter. Only outcomes. She flips the dagger effortlessly in her hand. And the outcome is standing right in front of me. She lunges. The strike is aimed straight at Darius's heart. But Seraphina is faster. Her blade intercepts the dagger midair, the clash ringing through the chamber like thunder. Sparks fly. Lyra snarls. Still protecting him, she spits. Even after what he did to you? Seraphina doesn't respond. Her body moves like shadow and steel, instincts honed from a decade of brutal training. Lyra retreats, circling. Adorable. You came back stronger, but not wiser. Still loyal. Still blind. Seraphina moves in a blur, kicking Lyra back against a pillar. The mistress wipes blood from her lip, laughing. You should have stayed dead. Seraphina steps forward. Her voice is frost. You should have left me alive. They collide, blade against blade, sparks flying, breath sharp, movements lethal. Darius watches, helpless. He cannot interfere. Seraphina doesn't need help. He knows it now. But as Lyra's strikes grow wild, desperate, a flash of something catches Seraphina's eye. A symbol burned into Lyra's wrist. An assassin's sigil. A high-ranking one. Her stomach drops. Lyra was never just a mistress. She was trained. Skilled. Planted. Seraphina pins her against the wall. Who sent you? She demands. Lyra laughs, blood on her teeth. You'll see soon enough. She spits in Seraphina's face. And then, she does the unthinkable. Lyra twists her blade downward and plunges it into her own side. Darius shouts. Seraphina releases her instantly, stepping back in shock. Lyra drops to her knees, wheezing, laughing through the pain. Now, it begins, she croaks. Seraphina narrows her eyes. What begins? Lyra lifts her hand weakly. A pulse of dark energy spreads from the wound. The blood on her dagger glows. The sigil on her wrist flares. Seraphina's heart stutters. A beacon. She's activating a beacon. Assassins. An army. Coming directly to the palace. Lyra collapses forward, whispering, Run. The last thing she does before dying is smile. The doors behind them explode open. Dozens of masked killers flood the hall. Their blades glint red. Their eyes lock on Seraphina. And the leader points at her. There, he says. Kill the phantom. Darius spins toward her, fear ripping through his voice. Phantom, Seraphina. He stops. He said her name. Instinctively. Without thinking. She freezes. He realizes what he said. His eyes widen. He knows. Her chest collapses inward. Her secrets tremble. And, before either can speak, the assassins charge. The war room is too quiet. Moonlight slices across the stone table where Darius stands, muscles rigid, fists pressed into the maps as if he could will the kingdom back under control simply by leaning harder. I watch him from the shadowed edge of the room, My place always unseen, always silent. My mask hides my face, but nothing hides my breath. Or his. Darius exhales again, ragged, exhausted, tortured by thoughts I know too well. He speaks without looking up. You didn't have to follow me in here. My heart gives a single, sharp kick. He's never said that before. I keep my tone flat, detached. Your safety requires vigilance. No, his head bows. This feels like something else. I freeze. He straightens slowly, and when he turns to face me, the moon graces his expression with an almost painful softness. His eyes, those dark royal eyes, cling to me with a pull that should not exist. Not after everything. I think about you, he murmurs. Too much. The words hit me like a blade slipped between ribs. Clean. Precise. Fatal. Do not, I warn. He steps closer. My pulse reacts traitorously, skipping, shivering, remembering. No. That woman is gone. Lost. Buried under 10 years of ash and training. But Darius keeps moving, slow, deliberate, like a king approaching a sacred altar. Your presence calms me, he whispers. I fight the tremor threatening my hands. His presence once destroyed me. You are confusing gratitude with. I am not confused, he cuts in softly. He stops an arm's length away. The heat of him reaches me anyway, wild sun wrapped in a simmering storm. His scent curls through the air, a warm, aching blend I once loved too deeply. Not now. Not ever again. I tilt my head to break the spell. My duty is to protect you. Nothing more. His voice dips, roughened. Then why do you watch me with such intensity? I inhale sharply. He noticed. I hide everything behind steel. To predict threats. He studies me with that new, unsettling hunger. Not lust, something deeper. Something wounded and reaching. I trusted you the moment you stepped into the throne room, he says. I didn't know why, but I felt it. A pull. His hand lifts as if to touch my mask. My heart slams against my ribs. No. He cannot touch me. Not when the truth sleeps beneath this thin shell. I catch his wrist midair. Big mistake. Heat flares where our skin meets, alive, charged, memory scorched. His breath stutters. What is this? Distance, I rasp. You need it. But Darius moves 1 inch closer. Tell me your name, he whispers. Your real name. Please. My throat burns. He used to say my name like a prayer. Now he begs for the name he once rejected. I force steel back into my voice. Names are luxuries. You hired a blade, not a friend. His nostrils flare. You are not a blade to me. You should leave this kingdom if that is true, I snap, letting the edge cut. It lands. He flinches. Then something shifts in him, darkens. His gaze becomes a storm of need, guilt, obsession. I can't stop thinking about you, he admits, voice breaking. When you fight beside me. When you walk ahead of me. When you breathe near me. Who are you? Why do I feel like I've known you all my life? A trembling heat coils under my ribs. The bond, broken years ago, still hums faintly in him. Dangerous. Terrifying. Wrong. I step back. He follows. Do not come closer, I warn. Why? He demands. Because you don't want the truth. Try me. I look directly into him. The truth is, I know exactly how to break you. He inhales sharply, every muscle tensing. His voice drops into a whisper. Then break me. My breath shatters. Darius reaches for my mask again. This time, I let him come close enough that the heat of his fingers grazes the edge. He freezes. For a heartbeat, we stand like that, breath mingling, souls trembling, past and present colliding violently. Finally, I speak. Quiet, lethal. Touch my mask. And everything changes. He swallows. Hard. I want everything to change. I curse silently. Because I almost want to let him. The door slams open. A guard stumbles inside, bleeding, gasping. Your Majesty, assassin, inside the castle. Darius's body snaps into alpha readiness. My world snaps into cold purpose. I draw my blades. His eyes lock onto mine, full of a desperation he doesn't understand. We finish this later, he says. No, we won't. But I say nothing. We sprint into the corridor together, two shadows, side by side. And just as we turn the corner, a single arrow whistles from above, heading straight for him. I leap. Darkness hits. And everything ends. Pain rips through my shoulder like fire. The arrow didn't kill me, but it slammed me into the stone floor hard enough to crack my mask, and the world swims in and out as I clutch consciousness. I hear Darius roar my name. No, not my name. Phantom. But the panic in his voice. That belongs to a man watching something precious slip away. Hands, warm, shaking, grip my shoulders. Stay with me, he commands, voice shredded. I grit my teeth as he yanks the arrow free. Heat pours down my arm. My vision blurs. Then I feel it. Cool air kissing my cheek. Half my mask is gone. Split down the center. Darius freezes. The world narrows to a stunned inhale, the silence collapsing like a dying star. Slowly, too slowly, he touches the broken edge of my mask. Your face, he whispers. I turn away, but he catches my chin gently, carefully, like he's afraid I'll vanish again. And then, he sees me. Really sees me. My eye. My cheek. My mouth. Recognition tears across his face like lightning. His breath stops. Seraphina. The kingdom goes silent. My pulse becomes thunder. He says my name again, voice breaking open. Seraphina. I shove him back instinctively, rolling to my feet despite the pain. Don't, I rasp. Don't say my name. But he rises slowly, staring at me like a ghost materialized, like a miracle he doesn't deserve. You're alive, he whispers. Moon above. I left you for dead. Seraphina, I killed you. My throat tightens. Yes, you did. His eyes flood with something sharp, grief sharpened into agony. Why didn't you come back, he demands, voice trembling. Why didn't you tell me? Tell you. I laugh, a hollow, broken sound. Tell the man who rejected me on my wedding night? Who walked into another woman's arms while I bled on the floor? Darius staggers as if struck. His voice fractures. I was lied to. Manipulated. Seraphina, I thought. You thought nothing, I snap. You never even looked at me. The hallway flickers with torchlight as smoke thickens. Guards fight assassins behind us, but here at the center of the storm, it is only us. My breath trembles. You destroyed me. I know, he chokes. I know. And every year since, I've paid for it. You don't get to ask for forgiveness. He closes the distance slowly, painfully. I'm not asking. His voice drops raw, devastated. I'm begging. And somehow, that hurts more. The bond between us hums faintly, like a ghost waking. I swallow it back. I didn't come here for you. I came here to protect the kingdom. He steps closer. I step back. You're shaking, he murmurs. It's blood loss, I snap. No, he breathes. It's us. My pulse stumbles. He reaches for me again, but this time, his hand stops inches from my cheek, trembling violently. May I? He whispers. My breath catches. The memory of that touch, once gentle, once beloved, is a wound still aching. So you can touch me like your mistress? I fire darkly. He flinches hard. I haven't touched anyone in years, he admits. I stare. Shock shivers through me. He holds my gaze, unflinching, remorse carved deep into him. I broke something inside myself the night I broke you. Silence crushes the air between us. Finally, I whisper, your mistress. Lyra lied, he says. Manipulated me. Poisoned the court. And now she's behind these assassins. She wants the throne. I go still. So this is the truth. And now, the consequence. I narrow my eyes. You should have seen it sooner. I should have seen you, he says softly. My heart twists, traitorous. Not now. Not again. Before I can respond, an explosion rips through the corridor, knocking both of us back. Stone cracks. Dust falls like ash. Through the smoke, a figure steps forward. Lady Lyra. Smiling. Holding the rest of my broken mask in her hand. Well, she purrs. Isn't this inconvenient? Darius growls, pure alpha fury. Lyra. She raises her palm. And in it, a glowing crescent mark of the moon goddess. One meant only for sacred rituals. My stomach drops. She's stolen divine magic. She turns her venomous gaze to me. Hello, Seraphina. Surprised? Darius steps in front of me protectively. Lyra's smile widens. Oh no, your majesty. You should step aside. Her eyes gleam with madness. Because the kingdom only needs one Luna. She unleashes the stolen power. Straight at me. The room does not breathe. For one impossible heartbeat, all sound collapses into a ringing hush, like the world itself is stunned. Seraphina's mask lies at her feet, split clean down the center. The iron-black face that once hid her identity is nothing but a hollow shell now. And she stands bare before him, face exposed, eyes burning with the fire he once snuffed out. Darius's chest rises too sharply, as if his lungs forgot how to function. He whispers it. Seraphina. Her name lands between them like a stone dropped into still water, rippling through memory, regret, fury. She doesn't answer. Her sword does. With a single fluid strike, she blocks an assassin lunging from behind him, steel sparking against steel. The clatter unfreezes the room. Screams erupt, blades fly, shadows leap. Darius wheels around, stumbling toward her. Get back. Seraphina. Move, she snaps, voice sharp enough to cut stone. She shoves him aside and spins, slicing down two attackers with impossible precision. Her movements are a blur, moonlit, lethal, silent. She fights like a decade of rage distilled into muscle. And he watches, winded, hypnotized, destroyed. He barely blocks a dagger aimed for his ribs. His wolf thrashes inside him, recognition hitting like lightning. Mate. His mate. The mate he rejected. Another assassin charges. Seraphina catches the attacker by the wrist, twists, and slams him to the ground with bone-cracking force. Her braid whips through smoke. Darius can barely speak. You're alive. You were alive this whole time. She doesn't even look at him. Stay behind me, your majesty, she says with venom. I'd hate for the kingdom to lose its king. The words burn. Not protective. Not respectful. A blade disguised as duty. He moves to her side anyway, refusing to leave her shadow again. Seraphina. I didn't know. I swear to the goddess, I didn't. Fight, she cuts in coldly, or shut up. Another wave hits them. Steel clashes, sparks shower the floor, bodies hit stone. Darius's chest heaves as he follows her lead. She guards him with effortless precision, but every time he tries to speak, she slices the conversation in half with her blade. At last, the final assassin collapses. Silence crashes back. Smoke coils around them. Firelight flickers against her exposed face, haunted, older, carved by years he forced upon her. Darius lowers his sword slowly. His hand trembles. Seraphina, his voice breaks. Goddess, I thought you died. I mourned you. She turns her head slightly, eyes hard. No, you buried me. There's a difference. The words punch the air out of him. He takes one step toward her. She steps back. That hurts more than steel could. He tries again, voice stripped of pride. If I had known, if I had understood. That I was your mate, she asks quietly, dangerously. Or that I was useful? The room feels colder. Darius swallows hard, shame rising like bile. I made the greatest mistake of my life. And I've paid for it every day since. She lifts her chin, moonlight catching the scar on her jaw he never put there, but caused all the same. You haven't begun to pay, she says. He nods, swallowing everything he wants to say. Everything he doesn't deserve to. Then she stiffens. Her wolf flickers in her eyes. Footsteps echo in the hallway. Heavy. Many. The castle guards rush in, but they're not alone. Lady Lyra stands among them. Her dress pristine. Her expression composed. Too composed. Seraphina's hand goes to her blade. Darius's wolf snaps its teeth. Lyra's gaze lands on Seraphina's face and trembles. Only once. Your Majesty, Lyra says breathlessly, the traitors must still be inside the castle. We must secure the king immediately. Seraphina's eyes narrow. Darius steps in front of her, protective without thinking. Lady Lyra. You knew she was alive. The room holds its breath. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. I feared the truth would upset you. Seraphina draws her sword. Lyra's guards raise theirs. Darius's voice deepens, alpha power rattling the stone. Lyra, stand down. But she doesn't. She smirks. And Seraphina sees it, the glint of a poison vial hidden in Lyra's palm. Before she can warn him, Lyra shouts, "Protect the king!" Her guards charge. Seraphina spins to shield Darius, but a crossbow bolt fires from the balcony, straight at his heart. She lunges. The bolt slams into her shoulder. Darius screams her name, and Seraphina collapses to her knees, bleeding, breathless, as the room explodes into violence once more. The world buckles around her. Heat pulses through her shoulder in sickening waves, each heartbeat a burst of fire beneath the skin. Seraphina grits her teeth, vision tunneling, refusing to let her body fail when danger still prowls the room. Darius crashes to her side, catching her before she hits the stone. No, no, stay with me, he pleads, voice hoarse with panic she has never heard from him. Seraphina, don't you dare fall. She pushes against him with her good hand. Focus on the threat, not me. But he doesn't move. He cups her face with both hands, warm, shaking, furious at himself. You took a bolt meant for me. She scoffs, breath trembling. Unfortunately, a shadow leaps at them from the left. Darius wheels around, roaring, and slams the assassin into a pillar with enough force to break bone. The man drops. Dead. He turns back instantly, kneeling in front of her again. Seraphina, goddess, you're bleeding too fast. Then pull it out and let me fight, she growls. No. If I pull it out, you'll bleed out. She tries to push herself up. Pain drags her down again. The battle rages around them, guards clashing with traitors, steel flashing in firelight, screams ricocheting. But Darius hears none of it. His entire world is kneeling before him, bleeding because of him. He presses her back against a marble pillar, hand on her cheek. Look at me. She forces her eyes open, fury glowing through the haze. Darius's voice drops to a raw whisper. I can't lose you again, Seraphina. She stiffens. Her breath shakes. Her gaze turns cold. You lost me 10 years ago, she says. His chest caves. He kneels lower, forehead nearly touching hers. I was blind. I was arrogant. I was everything unworthy of you. But I see now. I see everything. Her heartbeat stutters. Not because of him. Because of pain. Rage. Memory. Darius leans closer, voice breaking like old stone. You are my mate. The only one the moon ever meant for me. Her eyes flicker, something wounded twisting inside, but she kills it before it breathes. No. The single word slams into the air. Darius freezes. Seraphina's hand grips his chest plate, not with longing, but with brutal defiance. I refuse you. The finality in her tone makes the torches dim. Darius's breath stops. What? She pushes harder, forcing him back a fraction. You heard me. I reject you. His wolf howls, a broken, agonized sound only he can hear. Darius staggers, hand clutching the floor to steady himself. Her voice is ice. Just as you rejected me on our wedding night. He looks at her like she has pierced him with her own blade. Seraphina, goddess, no, please. No, she repeats. I am not yours. Thunder rumbles through the castle walls. Their severed bond lashes like a wounded beast. He reaches for her hand, but she pulls it away before he touches her. That hurts more than the rejection. And yet, a traitor rises behind him, dagger raised. Seraphina sees it first. Despite everything, she lunges, grabbing his arm and yanking him aside. The dagger slashes across her ribs instead of his throat. She gasps, staggering. Darius catches her before she hits the ground. Why would you still protect me? Her breath rattles. Because I protect the kingdom, not you. That shatters him in ways he didn't know were possible. He pulls her closer, hands steadying her trembling body. Seraphina, tell me how to fix this. Tell me how to earn it. Tell me how to deserve you. You don't, she whispers. A massive crash shakes the entire hall. Everyone freezes. The doors at the far end slam open. And Lyra stands there. But she is different now. Her gown is shredded. Her eyes burn red. Her aura pulses with corrupted moonfire. She steps through the wreckage, smiling at the chaos like it is a lover's caress. Well, Lyra purrs, now that her mask is off. Shall we drop mine too? Darius pulls Seraphina behind him, sword raised. Seraphina tries to stand, almost collapses, but her hand grips her blade with terrifying resolve. Lyra tilts her head. Let's end this properly. The torches flare violently, and the floor cracks under her feet. Lady Lyra stands at the center, her expression venomous and triumphant, while distant torches flicker, casting jagged shadows. The tension is palpable, heavy with looming betrayal. The throne room had never felt so cold. Darius, once a king of undeniable authority, now hesitated at the threshold, eyes darting nervously to the shadows that clung to every corner. Seraphina, standing at his side, felt her pulse tighten not from fear, but from the raw anticipation of confrontation. Her wolf, long dormant under layers of disciplined control, stirred with a quiet hunger for justice. Lady Lyra's smile was sharp, predatory, as though the years of scheming had sharpened her into a blade designed to wound. Your Majesty. She purred, voice silk over steel. I see the kingdom still trembles at your presence, though your protector seems different. Her gaze flicked to Seraphina, unreadable but calculating. Darius's jaw tightened. Enough games, Lyra. Whatever this is, it ends tonight. She laughed softly, a sound that scraped against their nerves. And? My dear king, it's only beginning. Every assassination attempt, every whisper of danger, did you think they came from mere coincidence? No. I've orchestrated every shadow, every threat. The throne will be mine, with or without you. Seraphina's fingers curled into fists beneath her cloak. The weight of her mask pressed against her skin, but she ignored it. Every muscle in her body hummed with anticipation. Her wolf, angry, wounded, and eager, throbbed beneath her ribs. You'll never succeed, Lyra, she said, voice low, steady. Not while I draw breath. Lyra's eyes narrowed, lips twisting. Oh, you think you're the hero, don't you? But you, both of you, are pawns dancing to my design. And soon, she paused, the words slicing through the tension, the throne will be mine. Without warning, the torches flickered violently as the room plunged into shadow. Silence swallowed every footstep. Seraphina moved like liquid, instincts honed over a decade taking control. In a single fluid motion, she intercepted a blade aimed at Darius's side. Steel clanged against steel, sparks igniting between them. Lyra's guards surged forward, their intent murderous, but Seraphina's movements were a storm, swift, precise, and devastating. Darius felt the chill of fear crawl up his spine as he watched the masked warrior beside him, his bodyguard, deflecting every attack with lethal elegance. And for the first time in 10 years, he understood the magnitude of what he had lost. The truth hovered at the edge of his vision, blinding in its clarity. But Lyra, cunning as ever, retreated into the shadows, her laugh lingering. The night is long, my enemies, she whispered, voice curling like smoke. And it always favors the patient. Seraphina's wolf growled low, a tremor in the back of her throat. She had faced death countless times, yet Lyra's presence was a poison that seeped into every fiber of the room. The stakes were no longer political, they were personal. Every attack, every threat, every betrayal had converged into this single, charged moment. As she caught Darius's gaze briefly, their shared history, pain, betrayal, and a spark of unspoken desire flickered in the space between them. But there was no time for longing. Lyra's schemes were only beginning to unfurl, and Seraphina knew they had to act. Now. And then, a piercing sound, a bell, sharp and deliberate, echoed through the throne room. Every guard froze, every instinct alert. From the far end of the hall, shadows shifted unnaturally, unnatural in their rhythm. Lyra's true weapon had arrived. The night air burned with anticipation. Seraphina's heart pounded against her ribs, each beat a drum of impending chaos. Beside her, Darius's stance was rigid, every inch the king, but the fear and admiration in his gaze betrayed him. They were united by necessity, yet the tension between them crackled hotter than any battlefield fire. "They're faster than before," Seraphina murmured, voice clipped, scanning the tree line. "Lyra's trained them well. But speed alone doesn't win wars." Darius swallowed hard, hands tightening around the hilt of his sword. "Then we fight smarter." The first wave hit like a storm. Seraphina moved with the precision born of relentless training, each strike calculated, each parry a whisper of death. Her movements were poetry laced with danger, and Darius mirrored her rhythm, learning the flow she had mastered long ago. For the first time since their reunion, the past did not bind them. Every block, every dodge, every synchronized strike was an unspoken conversation of survival and trust. The air shimmered with tension, but also with a raw, simmering connection that neither dared name. Lyra's voice sliced across the battlefield, icy and commanding. "You cannot survive this. You cannot fight fate." Seraphina's wolf stirred beneath her skin, a surge of protective fire. "Fate doesn't scare me," she spat, deflecting a blade with a savage twist. "You do." Darius pivoted to cover her, the sharp edge of his sword sparking against a soldier's. He caught her eye mid-strike, the unspoken truth finally blazing between them. They were stronger together, and every second of hesitation could mean death. The battle surged, relentless. Soldiers fell, shadows twisted unnaturally, and in the chaos, Lyra advanced herself, her movements deliberate and dangerous. Seraphina and Darius met her challenge head-on, moving as one, a perfect storm of fury and skill. But then, a new threat revealed itself. A volley of fire arrows streaked across the battlefield, cutting through the night. One glanced dangerously close to Darius. Seraphina reacted instantly, grabbing his arm, yanking him behind the cover of a collapsed wall. Their faces were inches apart, hearts hammering, breath mingling. "Don't look at me like that," Darius whispered, his voice hoarse with exertion and something else, regret, desire, unspoken confession. "Why not?" Seraphina murmured, lips barely brushing his ear. "We're alive. And for now, that's enough." But the pause was brief. Lyra's shadow loomed closer, dagger glinting in the firelight. Seraphina spun, knocking the blade away with a ferocity that made Darius's breath hitch. Every strike they exchanged with her enemy carved a path of inevitability. Only one side would stand when the night ended. And as the moon broke free from clouds, casting silver light over the battlefield, Seraphina realized a truth she had fought to deny. They were not just fighting for the kingdom. They were fighting for each other, for a bond forged in fire and betrayal, in love denied and finally reclaimed. As Lyra lunged with lethal intent, Seraphina's sword met her chest, and yet, from the shadows, a second figure emerged, taller, darker, and more dangerous than any enemy they had faced. The night exploded into chaos, and Seraphina and Darius braced for a battle that could decide everything. The wind tore through the cliffside, whipping Seraphina's cloak around her like a banner of defiance. Rain fell in sheets, cold and sharp, but she barely noticed. The moon goddess's voice resonated in the very marrow of her bones, silent yet undeniable, urging, questioning, offering a choice that could undo years of pain or cement them forever apart. Darius knelt in the mud, drenched, shivering, eyes wide and unblinking. "Seraphina, please," he whispered, voice breaking. Every word dripped with raw regret, every tremor in his tone betraying a heart that had finally understood the weight of his past cruelty. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, not after everything. But I cannot live in this world without you." Seraphina's eyes opened slowly, reflecting the moonlight like fractured silver. Her wolf stirred, wild and hesitant beneath her skin, sensing the delicate balance of power and trust in this moment. Every fiber of her being remembered the rejection, the humiliation, the exile, but also the strength, the mastery, the relentless journey that had brought her here. "You were gone for 10 years, she said softly, voice like a caress of steel. 10 years while I bled, while I built myself from the shards you left behind. And now you kneel, begging, for what? A bond you once discarded." Darius's voice caught, raw with honesty. "I was blind. Arrogant. Foolish. But this I know is truth. My heart, my soul, has never stopped calling for you. I am not asking to erase the past. I am asking to walk forward with you if you'll let me." A heartbeat of silence hung between them. Seraphina's claws, metaphorical, not literal, longed to tear through the lingering pain, but her heart, tempered in fire and discipline, understood the weight of this choice. Slowly, deliberately, she extended her hand, mask catching a glint of moonlight. "Walk with me, Darius," she said, voice firm but laced with warmth. "Not as my king, not as my former tormentor, but as the man who has earned a second chance." He rose with trembling hands, pressing his forehead to hers, and in that collision of warmth and cold rain, the world seemed to align. Moonlight wrapped around them, almost sentient, acknowledging a bond reforged not from weakness, but from the trials they had endured together. The storm raged, yet they stood, resolute. Seraphina's wolf relaxed, sighing in a mix of triumph and caution, aware that the path ahead, though shared, was fragile. Around them, the whispers of the moon goddess lingered, soft yet commanding. The choice had been made, but destiny, as always, waited with bated breath. And then a final flicker, a shadow on the cliff edge, a silent reminder that peace was temporary and vigilance eternal. But for now, for this night, they were together. The first rays of dawn spilled over the kingdom, igniting the stone and spires with fire-gold brilliance. Seraphina's steps echoed across the courtyard, each one deliberate, commanding, yet graceful. She was no longer the rejected Omega of a decade past, no longer a shadowed phantom cloaked in secrecy. She was the Luna Queen legend, power and grace fused into a single figure that inspired awe in every eye. Darius followed close behind, still caught between disbelief and devotion. His hands twitched, craving the closeness he had once taken for granted. Now, as they walked together before their people, he understood the enormity of her presence, not as a partner granted to him by fate, but as a sovereign force of her own making. Seraphina raised her hands, acknowledging the crowd, and in their collective silence, she felt every whisper, every story, every fear dissolve. The kingdom was hers not by default, not by marriage, but by merit, by strength, by the unyielding fire of a woman who refused to be broken. "My people," she began, voice clear, carrying both the authority of a ruler and the warmth of someone who had fought for every inch of her crown. "We have endured shadows, betrayal, and war. But the light of this day, of this dawn, reminds us that no darkness can withstand the truth of courage and unity." The crowd erupted in cheers, not just for their king and queen, but for the legend that had returned to them. Darius bowed deeply, reverence in his posture, heartful with an emotion he dared not name aloud yet, awe, respect, and a love tempered by fire and time. Seraphina's gaze met his, unflinching. "And you," she said softly, almost to herself, "will remember that this kingdom thrives because of loyalty, strength, and most importantly, because I choose who I stand beside. Not as a shadow of the past, but as the light of the present." Darius swallowed, breath caught in his throat. "Then I am honored, beyond words." For the first time in years, Seraphina allowed herself a fleeting smile, a soft release of the tension she had carried alone for so long. Her wolf purred quietly beneath her skin, content, acknowledging that she had claimed her destiny on her own terms. The morning air held promise, carrying the scent of flowers, stone, and the faint metallic tang of battles fought and won. Flags fluttered above, children cheered below, and the sun gilded the horizon with the brilliance of new beginnings. And as the Luna Queen lifted her crown slightly, a soft shimmer of silver dust spiraled from her hands, dancing across the courtyard, a symbol, a promise, and a reminder that power, when tempered by justice and love, could illuminate even the darkest past.